It is Pride Month, and I feel like when it comes to queer movies, everybody has seen like Moonlight and like Call Me by Your Name, and that might be it. So I wanted to make a list of queer films that you've never seen before or queer films that you need to watch again. Shout out to JSO9836 for leaving this comment in my last video. Make sure you guys leave a comment under this one so you can be featured in the next one. Drop below some of your favorite queer films because I only have about 11 and I know there's so many more. Kicking it off strong with what I think is a queer essential film is Paris is Burning. Now, I think this is one of those documentaries, it feels like either everybody has watched except for you or you've never heard of it before. Paris is Burning is a documentary about the ballroom and queer culture in 1980s New York. My favorite thing about it is the community aspect and how all of these people who are sometimes shunned from their own houses and their own families and their own communities came to the ballroom culture and were able to be themselves and were able to be creative and just express themselves as themselves. It's such a beautiful, beautiful movie. And it is kind of sad because a lot of people that are in this documentary died in poverty. But I think that their expression and their creativity will always be immortalized in this documentary. So if you have not seen Paris is Burning, you need to watch it yesterday. Right now, you can watch it on Tubi, and it's in the Criterion Collection. Next is Black Is, Black Ain't. It was directed by Marlon Riggs, who was working on this final film as he died from AIDS in 1994. And this film directly addresses sexism and homophobia within the Black community. Another watch on Canopy. It was actually recommended to me through TikTok. I seen it through TikTok through one of my movie mutuals, and I never heard of it before, so I'm very excited to get into this. I don't know too much about it, but I am very interested. My interest is piqued. I'm very compelled. I cannot wait to watch this and tell y'all what I think. Next, I have Rent. And before you do too much, a lot of people have not seen Rent the musical, don't even know about Rent the musical, and don't even know about Rent the movie. And I think that I actually haven't seen this movie in a long time, and I really want to run it back. Rent is about a group of bohemians in New York who strive for success and acceptance while enduring the obstacles of poverty, illness, and the AIDS epidemic. And it's based on a Broadway musical. Before y'all sit here and say, oh, I've seen this before, there are some kids who have not seen this movie before. There are some younger people who have not seen this movie that was based on a musical. And I think it's one of those like quintessential watches a little bit. And Rent is something you can watch on Canopy. Next, I have Happy Together, which I had never heard of until a couple of days ago. It is about a couple that travels from Hong Kong to Argentina to revive their relationship, but they experience turbulence when both men's lives drift in separate directions. It is directed by Wong Kar-wai. I have only ever seen In the Mood for Love, and it's one of my favorite movies. It's one of the most romantic movies I've ever watched in my life. So I'm very excited to see Happy Together. From the trailer, it just seemed like a relationship that kind of got a little toxic, and I'm very interested to see how that plays out. I cannot wait to watch this movie. When it comes to trying to find where to watch this movie, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I could not find it anywhere. I could not find it anywhere. It might be on some places like available to rent, but if you end up on one of them sites, that's your business. Next, I have Pariah, which oddly, I've never seen this movie before. It's one of those movies that keep coming up and it's like, this is a movie you should see, this is a movie you should see. And then I never watch it. Pariah is a coming of age movie about Alike, who is exploring her sexuality as a lesbian. This is one of those movies where you always see people talking about it and you're like, I'm gonna get to it, and I never do. So this month I plan on watching it. It was directed by Dee Rees, who I know for directing Bessie, starring Queen Latifah, and I love that movie so much. It's so good. And it's also a movie that can go on this list. When I was looking for Pariah, it's another one of those movies where I couldn't really find that many places if I wasn't renting it on YouTube. So once again, if you end up on one of them sites, that's your business. Next, I have The Death and Life of Marsha P. Johnson. Marsha P. Johnson was a very well-known trans activist who was murdered, and her murder was ruled as a suicide So the documentary is just filmmakers re-examining her case in 1992. I actually started this documentary, and the first couple of minutes was so heavy that I turned it back off. So I plan on finishing it. I don't know how heavy it is or it isn't, just a little warning. But I do think a lot of people don't know about Marsha P. Johnson, and this documentary is a good way to kind of get to know who she was. And as a documentary you can watch on Netflix. Next, I have The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. It is about two drag queens and a transgender woman who travel across the Australian outback in a lavender bus named Priscilla for a casino gig. It seems kind of in the same vein as To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything. And I've seen where people say like To Wong Foo is like a baby version of this, which I don't know if that's true or not because I haven't watched it yet. This movie and To Wong Foo are both on Tubi, if you wanted to get into that. Next, I have Tangerine, which is famously directed by Sean Baker, mostly on an iPhone. Tangerine is about a sex worker named Cindy who just got out of jail and finds out that her pimp/boyfriend is cheating on her. So we basically follow her, look for her boyfriend. As much shit as I gave Honora, and I will continue to give Honora because I don't think that it was best picture type of movie, I do like Sean Baker as a director, and I do enjoy what he chooses to shed a light on because I don't think a lot of filmmakers do that. So that being said, I would recommend that you watch Tangerine, which is available to watch on Tubi. Next, I have Y Tu Mama Tambien, which translates to And Your Mother Too. I was judging people's Letterboxd top 4s, and one of my mutuals had this in her top 4. This is like a long time ago. I watched this movie, stared at the wall. This is a stare at the wall movie. This is a what the fuck did I just watch movie. It is about Julio and Tenoch, who are two 17-year-old best friends who go on a spontaneous road trip with Luisa, who has just found out that she has cancer. It's a coming of age movie. It's really and honestly one of the best movies I've ever watched in my life. And I know that's me dragging it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie about that. But I really did enjoy this movie. Right now, it is available to watch on Netflix. Just watch it. Just be open. Just go watch it and come back and tell me what y'all think, because I cannot be the only one that thinks this movie is that good. And it's in the Criterion Collection, so I know I'm not the only one. Next, I have Watermelon Woman, which is one of those movies where it feels like either everybody has watched it but you, or no one has ever heard of it. Watermelon Woman is about Cheryl, who is a filmmaker, and she is researching 1930s black actress named the Watermelon Woman. The Watermelon Woman is an actress who usually plays roles that fit into the mammy archetype. That's all I know about this movie. I have seen this movie be talked about so many times. It's available to watch on Canopy. So if you have not seen it, like I have not seen it, I think you should watch it. And last but not least, I have Kiss of the Spider Woman. There are two separate versions of this movie, one that came out in 1985, one that came out in 2025. I have only seen the 2025 version, but the plot is still pretty much the same. It's about two men who share a cell in Latin America, and they bond with each other as they talk about old movies, and they slowly begin to catch feelings for each other in this otherwise dire situation. And while the actual movie was okay, I really enjoyed the color. It was directed by Bill Condon, who also directed Dreamgirls and wrote the Chicago for the screen. And I just like what he does with color and what he does with choreography. It is one of those movies where you're just like, but I do think it's worth watching because it's beautiful, and I'm excited to see how these movies kind of stand up against each other. The 2025 version is available to watch on Hulu, and the 1985 version is available to watch on HBO Max. And there you have it, a list of queer films that you've never seen before. Now, I did want to briefly rapid fire talk about some of my favorite queer films that I feel like everybody has seen, but just in case you haven't, I'm gonna list them off real quick because I just simply must. Call Me By Your Name was the most devastating movie I've ever watched, not because it was so sad and heartbreaking, but because it was also so beautiful, and it had so much to say about it is better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Timothy Chalamet, you ate that. Best Picture winner, Moonlight. Come on, let's be serious. One of the best movies you will ever watch in your life. One of the best screenplays you will ever watch in your life. Barry Jenkins, you deserved every bit of this Best Picture win. And I mean that. Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I watched it for the first time literally a couple weeks ago. And while I will say the pacing was not for me, the ending was so good. The ending was so amazing that if that is a movie that you haven't seen, you need to watch it. And the soundtrack was good too. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful cinematography. Like, it's like that. Brokeback Mountain, I watched it for the first time last year, 20 years after its initial release. Absolutely heartbreaking. Beautiful looking movie. Absolutely heartbreaking and nothing else. And then To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything. I feel like I said before, there are so many queer movies that end sad or just get, they get a little traumatic. It gets a little rough. And To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything is one of those movies that is just fun, campy, light, and an enjoyable queer movie to watch. Let me know down in the comments if there's any queer movies I've missed, some that a lot of people don't talk about or you feel like a lot of people haven't seen. And while you're down there, make sure you hit that subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.